to the channel. It is the 30th of September. We're looking at Aerodrome Finance here this morning. So this will be a daily chart. We're going to drop into a 3-minute time frame to hone in on some price levels here and kind of see what's going on. We've got a little bit of a shaky market here. So late or early morning, depending on how you look at it, we had markets turn red. And anyways, so let's get into this here. So I ended up changing the candles out here to a hollow body because a viewer, so these two red candles, which is well, at least today's candle's red, and then the down day on the 28th, they were showing green with some red. They were kind of confusing people, so I just got rid of the fill in those candles to make it a little bit more clear. So actually, we had a decent little day yesterday for Aero. So Aero was actually up 5.8 for the 29th. And guys, we hit yesterday's top, 128. What's my level I've been talking about for a while? 128. That level has come into play, back in here. It marked the top over here. The 27th of May, we hit a high of 127,749. But if we go to a 3-minute time frame, you can see here yesterday's top. I mean, it doesn't get any more perfect than when a market rallies, hits overhead resistance and or the price target, 128 for this example, and gets pushed back away. That's exactly how I watch these levels and use these levels. Anyways, wanted to show you that. But again, it's still acting as resistance. It's holding price back. And you can see that from yesterday. But we did start, I wasn't watching the markets during the day at all, actually. I didn't check them until probably a little after 9 o'clock last night. And, but we started to get a, potential breakout here. We had a higher low from the previous day from Saturday. We had a higher high from Saturday. I mean, those are all signs of a potential breakout about to take place. But, today, different day. We have markets red. We have the futures markets. The U.S. futures markets are down this morning. We have Bitcoin down quite a bit. The micro Bitcoin is down quite a bit. Was stopped out overnight on that. We'll see what happens with that. I will be re-entering if it continues, or if it turns around, I should say, and heads back higher. But for right now, gonna protect my capital in that position, and we'll see. Anyways, we'll see what happens. But today, back to a lower high and a lower low from yesterday. So basically the opposite of when the market makes a higher low and a higher high, and we start to look for prices to the upside. When the market makes a lower high and a lower low, we start to look for either a sideways to downward period of time here. So sideways to down. And again, that can only be a day or two, because I mean, look right here. The 28th of September was a lower high. It was a higher low, but it was a lower high. But then the next day, boom, we got the higher high and the higher low. So just because I'm looking for a sideways to downward market potentially in the days ahead, I can change that on, I can change that right away. If we print a nice candle tomorrow for tomorrow's trading session, basically a higher low, and then a higher high as a bonus, all right, switch gears. Could be seeing an upward market. So it can happen that quick. You can see it right here. Let's zoom in so you guys can see this if you're on a smaller device here. So this day right here, the 19th of September, nice big day, up 3.32%. The next day was an inside day. We had a lower high and a lower low. All right. So, we got that lower high. Potentially, we're looking for a sideways to downward, day or so to come after that day. And we didn't get that. We got the higher low the next day, and then markets went higher. So one red candle can kind of give you an idea of what's to come here. But if the markets continue up, don't ignore it. That's pretty much how I look at the markets, anyways. It's one day at a time, and over time, it tells a story. But let's see here. So from the breakout, let's see what Aerodrome is sitting up. So the breakout again was at 61 and change, about a 93% move. And that took place. So the actual day where we closed above the breakout zone was the 13th of September. So let's see, that's 17 days, about 93% in 17 days. If you got long down in here above this trend line, and then you're still holding up in here about 93%. Of course, it would have been higher if you were locked in profits at 128. But 128, it's important, We'll see what happens with these markets. Right now they're looking a little shaky, but that could change, could change later today, it could change tomorrow. But so far, resistance 128, 129, resistance again 128. But it's consolidating well here. It hasn't gotten hit too hard. Put it that way. Bitcoin got hit way harder than Aerodrome is basically outperforming Bitcoin right now. But if we do get hit, and it's possible, especially if the markets really get hit on this Monday, we could find ourselves down here at 106.42. We have a level, if it continues to slide, 104.829, 98.224, and then for fun, 92.337. I think that'll cover at least today. So that's anywhere from call it a 10% to a 22%. Aerodrome's down 22%. I'm going to think Bitcoin's going to get pretty beat up. But that is that, guys. Again, we will try to do an update a little bit later, but we'll try to give you some new upside bullish targets here. Even though we're consolidating, we should be able to get some new upside targets. Assuming price, if and when price does break out above this 128. Something that I would be looking for here is, when the market, if and when the market does start to move above 128, it could happen in a pretty bullish fashion, similar to what we saw down in here, where once the markets got above that overhead resistance line, trend line to the downside, it basically exploded to the upside. On the 12th, it ended up closing, obviously below the level, but then we got the next day was a 15% day. So when you have these ceilings of resistance and eventually price will, breach above it, it can happen in an explosive fashion. Think of holding a a kickball under the water, under a pool. It's got a lot of upward pressure, and if you let go, it ends up kind of shooting above the surface. So that's kind of my analogy there. And yeah, I hope it happens for the bulls, but we'll see. Like I said, Bitcoin is a little dicey here right now. And again, we are out of our futures position. Micros, we'll get back in, but just protecting our capital, of course, not financial advice, guys. So that's that. Welcome to the channel, guys. We'll be back hopefully later with an update, try to get you some new, we do have a bunch up here, price targets, but we'll try to get you some more up-to-date ones. So Bitcoin down at the moment, 1,700. And you could see here, we were definitely a slight pause here. We have some lower highs, and then we finally got hit pretty hard today. It'd be really good to find support anywhere between 64.3 and 63.788. It'd be good to see support show up in here and not necessarily down in the 62,206. If we start to get down in here, the odds start to favor even further downside. So kind of don't want to see that. But if you take a zoom out here on Bitcoin, overall, I mean, we're just in a very large sideways with a slight downward bias consolidation. So, all of these rallies here, obviously didn't break out to the upside, at least past the all-time highs. And the case may be the same for here. We rallied, and we might just be in a downward move consolidation. It might just not be ready yet. But if it is ready, we'll be on board over in the micro futures markets. But right now, we got to see where this pullback stops. So that's that. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll be back with another video sooner rather than later. If you are not yet subscribed, join us here on the channel. Appreciate it. Of course, not financial advice. Aerodrome at the moment is down 5%. It's holding up well. I think it's actually outperforming Bitcoin on this pullback. Let's see where Bitcoin finds support. And yeah, a little bit of a red day. We haven't seen one of them in a while. You guys have a great day.